Welcome to Mobile Devices, Class 6 in the Fundamental Digital Literacy Skills program, presented in partnership by your local library and Chinook Arch Regional Library System. Mobile devices, like smartphones and tablets, are incredibly popular technologies these days. It is very convenient to carry around a computer that fits into your pocket or weighs no more than a book, and you may notice that we are relying on them more and more. According to research, around 37% of Americans go online using only a mobile device these days. However, mobile devices can be intimidating to use, since they sometimes require learning new skills. I would like to acknowledge that the land we live, work, and gather on is the home of the Blackfoot people who have gathered here for centuries. I give my respect to their history, culture, beliefs, and relationship to the land. This is also home to the Alberta Métis Nation Region 3. So this is what we will be discussing in this lesson. Mobile device is a type of technology that refers to smartphones and tablets, essentially combinations of cell phones and computers. Many tablets even have telephone and text messaging capabilities these days. Most devices have front and back-facing cameras for photographs, videos, and video calling. Many people use their smartphones to take photos instead of traditional cameras these days. Some important terms for you to know are smartphones, which refer to devices that combine traditional cell phone features and internet access, a touch-sensitive screen, and virtual keyboard. Tablet, which refers to portable computers that have touch-sensitive screens and virtual keyboards. E-reader, which are tablets specifically designed for reading ebooks, and they don't really have any other function, such as an Amazon Kindle. And app, which is short for application, and these are shortcuts to programs that run on your device. For example, installing the Gmail app on your device will take you straight to your inbox instead of having to sign on through the internet. Some apps these days are specifically made for mobile devices. Some of the confusion with mobile devices comes from the fact that there are several makers, so there can be a lot of differences in how each one looks. However, there has been an attempt to maintain some consistency in the design, especially around how certain apps or programs look, in order to make it easier. A telephone image almost always indicates voice calls. The speech bubble represents text messaging. A cogwheel, or some other sort of mechanical image, represents the device settings. And you can find more apps for your device through one of the built-in stores. A colorful triangle, which denotes the Google Play Store on Android devices, and a white A symbol for the App Store on Apple devices. One of the reasons mobile devices can be tricky to use is because of their interactive design. They use touchscreens, which often require specific gestures for specific tasks, and virtual keyboards, which can take getting used to. When it comes to the gestures that many of these touchscreens require, tap is the most basic, and this is a quick touch with the pad of your finger to open or select a program. Tap and hold means you are holding your finger on the app image, using a little bit of pressure behind it, and this will open a menu of optional features. This is similar to using the right-click function on a computer mouse. Tap and hold will also allow you to drag the app around the screen of your device so you can customize the design. Double tapping means you are quickly tapping your finger twice in the same area of the screen, either to zoom in or zoom out. However, this only works on certain programs or devices. A more universal way to zoom in and zoom out on a mobile device is using the pinch method, meaning you open and close your thumb and finger in a pinching motion to zoom in or out. Dragging means you are holding the pad of your finger lightly on the screen and moving it up and down, left and right, to move the actual screen around, the equivalent of scrolling on a computer. You don't need to drag your finger from the very top to the very bottom. Instead, a short drag will do. And then swipe left and swipe right is very similar to dragging. And this is a short brush of your finger towards the left or right side of the screen. And this is used to change the page or image you are on, much like flipping pages in a book. When you need to type something, a virtual keyboard will appear on your screen. These keyboards are split into 3 different uses, so you have access to all of the keys that you need. They also include predictive text suggestions, meaning your device will try to guess what you're typing, or autocorrect it when it thinks you've spelled something wrong. There are also voice dictation programs that are represented by a microphone. The 3 different keyboards are the alphabet, numbers and punctuation, and special characters. In order to switch between them, you need to look on the left side of the keyboard and you will see special keys to tap. The alphabet keyboard is the default. To switch to numbers and punctuation, look for a key that has 1, 2, 3 on it in the bottom left. Once you've changed to numbers and punctuation, you will see a key with either A, B, C to go back, or one that has a combination of random characters that will switch you to the 3rd keyboard. In the case of Apple devices, you will see a key that has the pound sign, plus sign, and equal sign. There are also a few important keys to point out. While the keyboard itself will be laid out exactly like its real-life counterpart, the size of the virtual keyboard means certain keys have been shrunk down or abbreviated. The Shift key, represented by an upper pointing arrow, will give you access to the uppercase letters. And for tablet keyboards, the top line of symbols on a doubled up key. Backspace, represented by a backwards pointing arrow with an X inside, deletes the text. The space bar will add space between characters, and the Enter or Return key will start a new line or paragraph. Mobile devices connect to the internet in 2 ways, through Wi-Fi or mobile data. Wi-Fi is a wireless high-speed connection that uses radio waves, and you can either use a public or private network. To connect through Wi-Fi, you open your settings, tap on the Wi-Fi option, and choose from a list of available networks. If you have previously joined a network, your device will automatically try to join it again as soon as you are within range. Mobile data is using your cellular connection that you bought through your phone or tablet package. Usually, you pay for a certain amount of data every month, like 5 gigabytes, and if you use more, then you pay your provider extra. It is not necessary to purchase a data plan, and they can be pretty expensive, but that means you are restricted to Wi-Fi only, which is not always as reliable or in some cases as secure. Most people tend not to get a data plan for tablets, especially if they already have a smartphone that has one. To connect to mobile data, Open your settings and tap the cellular option. Ensure that your cellular data is turned on. If it is, you will see something like LTE or 5G along the top of your device near the battery information. Generally, if your device has cell data turned on and you are not connected to Wi-Fi, your device will automatically connect to your mobile data. The two main brands of mobile devices are Android and Apple. Android refers to the operating system, or OS, and there are many different companies that design the physical part of an Android device, and there tend to be many differences between company designs. Samsung and Google are two of the more popular Android phones. Apple refers to the company itself, so there are fewer devices compared to Android, and they all have the same general design. Apple devices use an operating system called the iOS. It is generally a good idea to keep your OS up to date, and your device will tell you when there is an update. Just check your settings app for any notifications. Many devices nowadays are set to automatically update if there is sufficient battery power and they can connect to the internet. These updates include both performance and appearance changes and security updates, so they are important for keeping your device running efficiently and securely. When you get a new device, take a little time to explore it and familiarize yourself with its layout and programs and the gestures that you need to use it. This will really help you build confidence using your device, especially if it is your first or an unfamiliar make. Because there are so many Android smartphones on the market, it is a good idea to read the operating instructions to learn how to do certain functions like shutting it down. However, many do have the same general features and functions. If you run into trouble using your device, you can use the internet to find troubleshooting assistance, but be sure to know the model of your device to find the specific help that you need. When you first set up your device, you will often be asked to create or enter a Google or Microsoft account, which will be your identity on the device and allows you to access apps in the Google Play Store or Microsoft Store. When you're looking at your device, the lock button is usually located on the right-hand side. This locks the screen and puts your device in a sleep mode, meaning it uses less battery and makes it inaccessible to anyone else. Your device will lock itself if you leave it for a time, but the lock button will do this immediately, and pressing it again will let you unlock it. The volume controls will be on the left-hand side. These control both the speaker volume for videos and the ringtone volume for phone calls. And the home button is usually located on the bottom of the screen. Pressing it will return you to your screen to the home screen from any device, from any window that you are on. It may be a physical button that you actually press, or a virtual one that you tap. Not all Android phones are designed like this, but most generally follow this layout. When you're looking at the screen of most Androids, the status bar will always be along the very top, and this shows current information about your device, like the battery and internet connection. Widgets are similar to apps, only they lead to specific device settings, like screen brightness. Alternately, you might find widgets on a pull-down menu called the Control Center that you access by placing your finger at the top of the screen and dragging down, pulling a new menu with you. And of course, the home screen is the equivalent of the computer desktop, and this is where all your apps are located. You can have more than one home screen depending on how many apps you have, and you can see the number by looking at the small dots towards the bottom of your device. Swipe left or right to move between these screens. Apps, of course, refers to the different programs that you install on your device, like the phone, messaging, email, internet services. Your favorites tray will be along the bottom of your screen, and this is where you can store your most often used apps, and it can also be customized. This tray remains on the screen no matter what home screen you are looking at. Some Android devices have a feature that allows you to see every app installed on your device without having to swipe through various home screens, and this is known as the Apps view. And finally, at the very bottom of the screen will be your navigation buttons. These can be physical or virtual, and you use them to either return to a previous page, see all of your open programs, or return home. Apple smartphones are known as iPhones, and again it is a good idea to read their instruction manuals. Some people find Apple devices confusing if it is their first one or if they previously used an Android device. When you first set up your device, you will be asked to create an Apple ID to personalize it and use as your identity when using the App Store or accessing iCloud storage. When you're looking at the controls of an Apple phone, again they all follow the same general layout. The volume on the left-hand side are used to control your speaker and ringtone volumes. The home button, down at the very bottom of the screen, will return you to your home screen. Newer iPhones have no button. Instead, you swipe up with your finger from the same area, the bottom center of the screen. The lock button on the right-hand side locks your screen and reduces battery power, and pressing it again allows you to unlock the device. Like Android, Apple devices will lock themselves after a period of inactivity. Finally, there is the Control Center. This menu has shortcuts to common controls like screen brightness. New iPhones from 2017 on have the Control Center as a pull-down menu, while older ones have it as a pull-up menu from the bottom of the screen. And here is a display of what a typical Apple iPhone screen looks like. Your status bar along the very top displays current information about your phone, like the battery life and internet connection. Apps, located in the center of the screen, which is also known as your home screen, and like Android, you can have however many home screens as you like and arrange your apps within them however you like. And then along the very bottom is what's known as the dock, and this is where you can store your most used apps. Newer Apple operating system also has the app library, which shows all of the apps on your device. You access it by continually swiping through all of your home screens until the very end. There are many different tablet computers to choose from, just like there are smartphones. And also, like smartphone counterparts, Android devices have several different designs and makers, while Apple tablets, known as iPads, have a consistent design. And for the most part, tablets operate exactly the same as smartphones. There are many reasons why you might want to consider purchasing a tablet instead of a traditional computer. They are light and portable, which is great for travel and entertainment because they are so easy to carry with you. You can connect to the internet anywhere, especially if you have a data plan and are not relying on Wi-Fi. But even if you do, they can often connect more easily than a traditional computer. They are relatively more affordable. Generally, they are cheaper than computers and even some smartphones, though depending on how fancy you want your tablet to get, you may not be saving as much money as you think. And they're also great for internet browsing, as this is their primary function. Their portability and lightweight makes internet browsing convenient, and they can have faster loading speeds for internet pages than traditional computers. However, there are things to keep in mind when it comes to tablets that may make them a bit more challenging to use. They have no mouse or keyboard, though a physical keyboard can be bought separately, so you are relying on that touch-sensitive screen. Most tablets have no external port that allows you to connect to physical storage devices like a USB. You are often reliant on using cloud storage and whatever built-in storage comes with them. This, of course, may change as devices improve and we begin to use tablets more exclusively. Tablets aren't generally designed for tasks that require a lot of processing power and speed, like video rendering, and are better suited for more casual use. Again, this is not universal, as there are fancier tablets and smartphones that will do all of these things, but they are often beyond what most of us want for daily casual use. They are also not very ergonomic and can cause strain on your wrists, back, and neck, sometimes worse than traditional computer use, as we often treat them much more casually and will hunch over tablet screens rather than set them up properly like a computer screen. And finally, tablets and smartphones as well are quite fragile, so it is highly recommended that you get a protective screen case or screen cover. Regarding maintenance, there are a few things that you can do to keep your devices running smoothly. Namely, keeping your device operating system up to date to ensure it works at its best and most efficient all the time. It's recommended as well that you wait to charge the battery of your device when it gets very low, ideally at about 10% or less. If you charge it too often, or keep your device on a charger when using or not in use, it can cause the battery to wear out faster. Newer devices do try to cut down on this, but it is still a good idea to preserve your battery for as long as possible. Again, using a screen cover or case to protect them when you drop them, and it's usually a cheaper option than having to pay to repair a device, especially if it is out of warranty. And finally, clean your device regularly with a soft cloth, like that you use for eyeglasses. If you are using a liquid, spray it on the cloth and not the device first, and make sure it does not have any alcohol in it. Cleaning your device is important to keep bacteria from developing on them. And just some security and privacy tips. Like all secure computer devices, there are some steps you can take to help protect your security and privacy on mobile devices. Again, keeping the operating system up to date will include all of those security fixes. Using security codes or biometric encryption, like a fingerprint or a face scan, will help lock your device and keep unwanted people from getting in. Avoid clicking on strange links that you receive in texts and emails. And if you are unsure about a phone call, don't give any personal information out. And possibly don't answer if you do not recognize the number. Be careful of what apps that you install. Stick with those found on legitimate sources like the app stores and those with good user reviews. Give only the required information on forms when you are signing up for things, which limits how much information people can know about you at any one time. Be aware that public Wi-Fi is often not as secure or private as any Wi-Fi program you need a password for. So maybe avoid doing secure tasks on public Wi-Fi. And finally, be aware that you can be tracked using a mobile device, especially through things like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connections. If this is a concern, you can disable both in your Settings app when you don't need to use them, but be aware that many programs do require one or the other in order to work. And that brings us to the end of this lesson. I do hope that you learned something or found something of interest in it, and thank you very much for your participation.